What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Ease, live in effect without the BS. Back with another Path of Exile 2 video. Want to give my opinions and some, well, facts on how this game is bad and good all at the same time. But I'm gonna get the bad stuff out of the way first, because most people just want to hear about that. Um, there's so many things wrong with this game that needs to be fixed that I think a lot of people are just missing because they're not on console. Because the console bugs are totally different from what the PC got to deal with. Right now, you see all the patch notes just came out. Everything is geared towards what PC end gamers are doing. But there's bugs during the course of the story that it makes the game pretty much harder to play. It's not a skill issue. It's not a your build suck issue. It's a latency slash texture stripping slash controller doesn't respond well to the moves. All those things. It's a gameplay issue more than a skill issue. I was able to make one whole build, got to the end with my Legionnaire here, level 69. Brute forced my way through it. There are so many bugs with just this build alone, just this character alone, that we're going to go over. We already know about melee. I try to do a monk because I'm at end game and don't like end game. I'll explain that later. But I try to do melee because people are saying melee is bad, which I already knew. This is Path of Exile. For all new players, you should know that Triple G is not very good at hitboxes. They never have been. Their way around hitboxes is to make AoE explosions bigger. If you look at all the PoE 1 melee moves, they all have a splash damage to it. And to make those moves better is to amplify that splash damage that those so-called melee moves do. Because the hitboxes are so bad. It's always been that way. It's because it's an animation issue. When you're trying to do something that's animation based, it takes a lot more manpower and a lot more effort to make hitboxes work correctly. They used to back in the day because there was less animations. With older games back on the PS2, and Nintendo 64 and everything, hitboxes were so much easier to make because there was less animations to deal with. But now there's so many different combinations of animations they put into the game to make it look good for everybody. Hitboxes are just hard to make. So I already knew it was going to be trash. You just got to work around the trash. It's just a technical, it's a technical error. There's nothing you can do about it without putting in lots more manpower and hours into your job. I mean, they want to pay more to their employees to do it. They can do it if they got the money. I mean, they are backed by Tencent. Hello. Anyway, this is an Xbox. On console, aiming is broken. The so-called focus aiming, definitely when you're using a mercenary. I'm pretty sure it's probably the same if I use a ranger with a bow character. But if you're using the mercenary, his crossbow skills are so delayed. It is unbelievable how hard it is to get an accurate shot on some guys. Most times you'll end up shooting the ground and not the person that's clearly in front of you. But you'll make a ice wall in front of you. Now, I'm not sure if it's a bug for this skill, the Glacier Bolt, and that's why it's doing that. But when it comes to aiming with it, it never aims directly where you're trying to aim at. It's always somewhere else. Always. And if you try to use the so-called auto aiming, it will highlight the person that you're trying to aim. So you can clearly see where you're aiming. But when you press the fire button to shoot, the explosion will happen nowhere near the enemy. It will happen just before him, or like meters away, 2 or 3 meters away from him. So I'm not sure like what is going on with this skill alone, but it's not working at all. At all. It is so random. Then you have, of course, load times are crazy. People are saying that you should be able to change your server region. Maybe you're in a different server and that can change the lag. But unfortunately on console, you can't change your server. When you first start the game up, before you make any characters, it gave me an option. It says auto, and then it gave me a list of places to have my server. I wasn't thinking about it, and I just hit the auto. The auto threw me in Texas, which is in the middle of America. I'm on the West Coast. I'm in Washington, right next to Microsoft. I'm over here. So there's no option to say, hey, you can change it. I was told that at the home screen that you can change it, but that's only on PC. You can't do it on console. So if you're brand new to the game and you're downloading this game, make sure you pick the right server for you, because as of right now, there's no way to change servers. Once you're locked into one on console, you are locked in. Just want to get that out there. And then you have issues like this that happens in the game as well, that makes the game very, very unplayable. The game is not super hard. I mean, yes, it is challenging. It has its problems, like, for a challenge, especially Act 1 and 2, for very new players who are not thinking.
I was hoping to avoid conflict.
There are times where I think the game might be overtuned in the beginning. Do you see this flickering that's happening on the screen here? This flickering causes the game to, one, if you got really bad epilepsy, this can hurt a player. I have epilepsy, but it's under control, luckily for me. And I'm sitting very far from my television. I'm not next to it like most PC players or other gamers might be. They're not sitting that close to my television. But the aiming for this thing is so like random. And I don't know why it takes so long for it to understand that if you're reloading from one ammo to the next, why does it take so long to just do it? Just reload and put the ammo in and go. The whole animation in between the reload is way too long. And no matter how much move speed I put on my character, I shoot faster, but there's not enough reload speed nodes on this board. There's not enough reload speed, literally. There's not enough reload speed nodes on this board to do any better. Like, is this, and then you have this. That's it. You need to at least have 100% reload speed somewhere. I tried to get all attack speed, and nothing. All it does is make me shoot faster, which still makes the animation reload slow. It just means I gotta go into my animation slower. I mean, quicker. It's weird. That totally needs to be fixed. And this screen tearing thing really needs to stop. I'm telling you, it hurts my eyes. For someone who is suffering from recovering and suffering from epilepsy, fix that damn screen tearing, okay? Like I said, it's probably not only with PC, because like I said, PC people don't complain about stuff like that because they can control their own settings. We're stuck with the game gives us. So you need to fix that. We can't control the settings. They can go in and do some background buggy shit with their computer to fix that stuff. That's one bug. And I think that flickering bug that happens on all the levels, like every level past Act 2 does that. And it's just bad. Especially Act 3's hometown, like the home. It says here, past, but if you go to the present version of it, that area, I never go there to trade or anything. Because, yeah, you gotta walk down, you gotta drain the water for the, sorry, spoiler, you You gotta drain the water to go down and do the next level, but that whole area flickers so bad on the Xbox that it just hurts. I have to go to Act 2 to sell my stuff to come back to Act 3 to do a mission. Because I can't go to the main town. Bugs like that should be more important than how many maps drop. If a player can't survive a map because it's hurting their eyes, or it could cause a serious injury as in epilepsy, who gives a fuck about how many maps drop? You can't sustain a goddamn. I don't care. This is more important. When it comes to bosses, I know this is early access. I totally understand. They already let us know from the very beginning last year that from Act 2 here on, they did not do any testing. So they did not do any testing for Act 2 and Act 3. Remember, these are just copies. So the Act 2 and Act 3 did not have any testing. Act 2, if you go to the Land of the Titans, I think it's in Act 2. Or is it Act 3? That's probably why most bugs are there. In the Land of the Titans, there are so many obstacles that just blocks your visual view that you cannot see where you're going at all. I'm not sure where it's at, but maybe it is Act 2. I don't know. But if we go to the Land of the Titans, that board has so many statues that are so beautiful, but you cannot see past half of it in a lot of the corridors because of the way the map is designed. The map is way too big in a lot of these areas. But there it is, the Valley of the Titans. Also, in the Valley of the Titans, as you're walking around, there are a lot of floating particles, floating rocks, all over the board as you're walking around. Of course, people don't see it because they're too busy trying to run past everything or kill things in front of them. I'm looking at the environment while I'm doing all that. And your environment, there's so many things just floating in the air. There's floating rocks, nothing under it, just there. All over the Valley of the Titans. Crazy. Then there's where is he? There's a boss. I think he's underground. Yeah, I didn't beat him yet because he's annoying. Can I highlight it? This boss here, the reason why I didn't beat it yet is because there's a bug right now, at least on the Xbox. I'm not sure. Like I said, PC people don't let anybody know about other bugs. They just want to know about in-game. But there's a bug right now where this boss and two other ones, the one where there's a big fat lady who squeezes her boob for milk and she drinks it, but it's just blood. Those, and there's one more called Blackjack. I think he's in Act 3. Those three, they teleport. They have they have, I don't know if it's a built-in ability, but their teleportation ability is so out of control. I'm not sure if it's a glitch, because I will freeze, my ability is to freeze. I will freeze this boss. You will see it in place, but then it will teleport, reappear behind me, unfreeze, and then AoE explosion and I die. Things like that. I'm not sure how a boss is supposed to teleport all over the place. The girl, that's the big lady who's half naked with the blood, she does the same thing. She'll do her axe slam. She'll do a double roll axe slam because part of her combo. You gotta dodge it once, and then she'll do it 2 times. On her second one, she'll roll once, roll twice, but when she gets into mid-air, she'll flicker, disappear, reappear somewhere else in the screen, and then slam down again. Those happen. That happens all the time, and that's what I'm talking about when it comes to bug reports and bug fixes. This patch that came out, nothing fixed any of it. Like that patch, only thing that's good about that patch was lowering the price for redoing your build. That was the only thing good about that damn patch. Because players can't play the game when you got floating rocks, textures popping in and out, bosses going from one side of the room to the other. I think that's more important than worrying about somebody who can't find chaos damage where all you have to do is look into the shop. Because I got 10% chaos damage way back before I even got to in-game. Yeah, you probably say, well, you need more than that. Okay, well, go get it. It's all over the shop. When you go to the trade website, there's a bunch of rings with chaos. Just don't get mad that the PoE 1 guys came over and raised the price of everything. That's all. When it comes to gear in this game, another complaint I'm having about this game too. When it comes to gear, I totally agree with everybody. Yes, gear does not drop very well, and nor does money. You know, the currency you need to even build your gear. But to tell you the truth, it is a lot easier to craft in this game than it is to craft in part 1 for someone like me, someone who's a hardcore casual. What I mean by hardcore casual is I've been playing for this game for 8 years, but I'm not hardcore enough that I memorize every single aspect of this game. But when it comes to crafting in this game, yes, you can like determine what you want on your gear like you can in part 1. That's way more extra steps and more material that I have to go farm that I don't want to get involved with. Leaving it in a short, like just using just these here, just to level up my gear, makes it so much simpler because I just know exactly I just need one of these, and one of these, and then I'm good. And maybe one of these. That's it. But on part 1, you're going to need one of these, 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 one of these. You're going to need one of these. You're going to need like 10 of these. Then you're going to need some elixirs, and then you're going to need some essences. I mean, these little like potion oil thing. Then you're going to need fossils. No, it's way too many options. Way too many options. Now, I understand if you like those options, go for them. But I'm good. Just leave me with this. I'm good. So far, it works because I made all my gear. I only bought one thing. I bought 2 things. I got scammed. Watch out for trade. I'll tell you about that after I tell you about this. I bought one thing. Wasn't a scam. Works out great. Love it. First thing I bought was a crossbow. That one was a scam. But oh well. But everything here, I made myself. Just roll it yourself. Is it possible to get better than this? Of course. But am I still alive because of the stuff I did myself? Yes. That's all I'm saying. Like, you can be okay without having to use that trade at all. Now, on to trade. Trade is horrible. Oh my God. Trade needs help. I'm not sure how it can. Ooh, no. I love my gear, but not that enough. Not enough. Not that. They're hard to find, especially when this is the main. These 2 are the main currency of the game right now. You use these to buy everything you want. I think one of these is like 37 of these or something like that. But trade. When you're trading in this game on console, listen to me. Since now that we have to trade with PC players, you need to understand that there are a lot of scammers on the PC side. They have cheating apps. They can look up stuff way ahead of time. They got bots to farm. They got all kinds of shit in their favor. Okay. So when it comes to the trade market, they will inflate the shit out of it. Stuff that should not be worth 4,000 chaos or 4,000 exalts are now worth 4,000 exalts. But you need to know, if you're new to Path of Exile, period, 1 or 2, that this is normal. These guys from PoE 1, they are very stock market-esque, like very into that shit. And they rely on the top build makers to do that. So what they do is, here's how trade is a scam. Okay, that's why you're going to need to watch out for it, period. When it comes to making gear and selling it or trying to buy it, mostly trying to buy it. Here's how trade works for PoE players. And this is how they're going to do it over here in PoE 2 because it already has, you can look at the market. Everything was only for one Chaos, one Exalt at first. Now, everything is like 30, 100, 200 for the exact same item that was just for just one. What they do is they wait for people to make these builds. The builds go online. This community is a bunch of followers. Once they see something that someone else can do, they will follow that build. And once that person follows the build, the items that goes to the gear that needed for that build, that gear goes up. So if you're trying to play meta, just know meta means expensive. PoE has a really bad issue when it comes to saying, this is a starter build. They love that word. Use this one as your league starter. No. They're used to that term because of the play style they have. When you're new to PoE, just know that there is no starter build. There's a starter idea, but just know that the gear you need to play the so-called starter is going to be expensive. So if you don't get the money, aka the limited drops that come in the game, you won't be able to play the so-called starter that's supposed to help you get the money for other builds. It doesn't make any sense. But they will show you starter builds that are very expensive. They will say this starter build will cost you 30 or 40 chaos or 30 or 40 exalts. When you can't find two, how am I supposed to start this starter build? You know what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? But that's how they do it, because they're raising the market on these set gear pieces that they already farmed. So they're just putting on the market, making sure you come to them to buy it so they can have money, so they can go buy something else. There's a lot of people that put up build guides that don't follow their own. They have a build guide, but if you look at their build in play, it's a different build. They'll say, I have a build guide, go to Mobilis, go to Max, go to something. I'm not saying those guys are victims or whatever, or those are the culprits. I'm just saying, just go somewhere. You'll go to that build, look at their stats on that build, and then look at their gameplay and watch their stats there. They're two different, sometimes it's totally different objects, like they have different boots on. They'll have different rings on. It's like, but you said this was your build. That's what the problem is. It's a bunch of theory crafting to make a bunch of money on the trade market. Lots of theory crafting. The best way to play this game is to, yes, learn from a lot of the guys that's been playing for a really long time, because they do have a lot of good tips. But you also need to be mindful that they're also out for their own profit. You need to understand, new players to PoE, especially if you're on console with me, you need to understand a lot of people in this group are only for themselves. That's why they're trying to make co-op something. It's always been a single player game. I get something, I'm going to charge an arm and a leg for you to buy it from me, because I know that you're not going to spend as much time on the game as I do, so I'm going to make more money from it. It would be nice if the community was like, hey, won't we all just have fun, and hey, here's the stuff, here's a price. But that's not the community thing, that's the game itself thing. I was hoping they would, because they said they're going to make gold more important, but you can't buy items. You can buy random items, you can gamble in this game, but I don't like gambling. I don't like gambling in real life. But I'm going to have to, because I would like to have a headhunter. But I'm never going to buy one off the shop, because they're going to triple charge. They probably charging like 2 or 3 mirrors. And a mirror is like a 0.00001% chance of getting it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what? You charging me something that's so you charging me something you want? I want to buy something rare, but you're charging me with something that's even rarer. It's not feasible possible, but that's how that community feels. That's how they've always been. You have to be a long-term player to get those high-end items. Which, hey, like I said, for each his own. Some people like that, some people don't. I'm part of the people that don't. That's all. Moving on. Oh, let me show you scams. Scam. That's what I was talking about before. This is the very first thing I bought in the shop when so-called trade market. Tips for trade market. Triple G, you need to fix it because there is no way for us to always know, especially on console. I'm not sure how it works on PC, but on console, this little window that's moving over there for trade, when someone wants to buy something, it shows up in that box. But there used to be an indicator in part one that would show up like a big box, like a little text box that's saying, hey, this person named such and such wants to buy an item. A box will show up so you'll know while you're playing the game, running around, doing the mission, and you don't got time to be looking at that box all day when you're trying to sell stuff. I missed multiple sales because of that.
Don't think that'll go down well here.
And no one, like, I never got a message. It needs to be a very noticeable message up on your screen, like it was in part one. We have like here, you have quest complete. A big old thing comes on the bottom of your screen, says quest complete. You can do the same thing at the bottom of your screen. Such and such wants to buy item, and that's it. Just one little tag bar on the bottom of the screen. That way, you'll know. If you're in the middle of a fight, you can teleport out, and then you're good to go. That will be a great feature to add for trade. And of course, fixing the goddamn graphics in this game. Look at this. The floor looks like shit. Next, maps. You said you couldn't brick the mapping system. I think I figured out how to brick the mapping system. All you have to do is lose. And if you lose, you'll never move past this point here. Or, in this case, my Mosi, I can't move past this point here. Now, you said, like, you can you can't brick it because if you just do it, you just lose what's inside of it. But you can do it again. But what if you beat it? You can't go back and redo missions that you already did. So you're forcing us to always go forward. Since you're going to force us to always go forward, now I'm running into an issue where I got 3 boards where I can't do them because, again, I have chaos resistance, but just like the PC people were saying, they are right. There's a lot of chaos resistance in this damn game. And in this board here, the Valve Factory, and in this board here, there's so much environmental interference that you can't see the traps on the ground at all. At all. So if I can't get past the chaos resistance, which I probably can because I have 1 Exalt, so I could probably buy a ring that gives me like 20 more chaos resistance. So that's the workaround. People will probably say, hey, just buy the ring. That can get me past maybe 1 of these boards. But then you'll run into the same issue. What if you run out of maps? I've heard this having an issue right now. People are running out of level 15 maps. But what if you run out of level 1s? Yes, you can probably go to the store and that guy in the shop over here, and you can buy the level 1 maps, right? He sells them. Am I correct? Yeah. He buys them. and then just buy endless supply of level 1s. But if you keep running into the same problem of you can't pass the board because there's too much, not that one really, this one, because the environment is too cluttered and you can't see what's on the ground. Eventually, all that money that you spent on maps, you're going to run out on this one board because you can't escape, because you can't see the ground. Or in my case, I like this one here, I die because I get surrounded too much. And this game has such a lag. The more people on the screen, the game lags out so bad with the controller on Xbox that you can't aim. The aim just goes all over the place. Like sometimes I won't be able to shoot. I'll reload and it won't shoot. All that kind of stuff happens on this board here. That's why this one here is bricked. I can't get past this one unless I get somebody to come join me and push me through it. This board is bricked, so I can't go to this tower at all. Unless they fix the floor, I could probably pass this one. I just gotta watch the floor more. Because the enemies are easy. I'm one-shotting them. It's the floor that's killing me. Every time it's the damn floor. So this board is bricked because I can't get past the damn floor because I can't see it past the damn flowers on the ground. I can't tell which flower is bad, which one is good. Some you can tell, some you can't. And this one, I don't know why I haven't tried that one. So I just went this way. I beat all these, and they were fine. But it could happen again. Who knows? I can go this way, which I'm probably going to try today. And it might run into another issue where I can't see the floor. The board is background. The screen might be flickering, like it is right here. Things like that are all in the way of the game. That's what's increasing the difficulty, I think, at least for me, as a long-range character in the game. All right, next up.
Don't know what I was thinking.
Here, right? This is what everybody should. That's what everybody's thoughts right now. What I was thinking. Okay. Skill tree. Right now, we got complaints that people said this tree is not interesting. I don't know what they mean by that because the stuff in this tree are the same stuff that's in the part 1 tree. The only difference is there's no life nodes. So I guess I understand why you're mad about that because I would like to have some more life of my character on the board here, so that would be more nice. And yes, the tree is not balanced because if you put in, I think it's mana or cold. Let me see. If you try to do, like, if you want to do an energy shield build, energy shield is only over here. If you want to do anything involving energy, you gotta be up here. So you can't even, the game is not even letting you be a melee build with an energy shield. You cannot do it. Because you start over here with melee. You gotta go way over here, then cut all the way back over here, losing points because you need the points for your gear, for your build, which is over here. So it's just bad setup. They need to move some of this stuff out here and spread it out the board. Just spread it around. Double up. Like, there's a lot of nodes in this game that are just 1. Make it 2. Like that. And make these 2s 3s. That's probably, there are differences in part 1 from this. There are some 3s in part 2. You get 3 abilities, 3 stats. Maybe that's the problem. There's too many 1s. And there is a lot of just regular attribute stats all over this place. They're everywhere. I suggest that they change some of these attribute stats and make it mana, extra mana, or extra life somewhere. Like extra mana, extra life somewhere. Because there's too many paths where it's just more stats that you don't need. I have enough stats already. But to get to where I need to go, I gotta get more stats to even get to where I need to go. I don't need more stats. But I gotta go through that to get there. It's like I already got everything maxed out. I only need 3 more points in intelligence, and I don't need any more stats. Because all the gear I need is under 120. But I need more. I need more attack power, but I gotta go through all these more stats right here. Gotta get all this just to get down to get these 2 rows. You know, it's just extra steps that's not needed. Fill in the gaps with something better than just stats. That's probably what people are saying that's boring. It's just stats. Every line just says damn stat. Nothing to it. Now when it comes to build design, designing a build in this game is super easy. You can make whatever the hell you want. I just wish it was cheaper to do it. But it's okay. I mean, the price is fine. I just wish gold was better. Maybe if stuff sold for more, like even rare items don't sell for that much. Maybe raise the cap on how much things to sell for. Like I take all my white items, I make it blue on purpose just to sell them. To get more money back. You know, that's the only workaround I can think of right now for everybody to use, especially on console. Also, I think there's also a big bug too I found here. This skill here, there's a bug for this skill. Giant's Blood is broken right now. Well, at least it's broken with crossbow, because crossbow is a 2-handed weapon. It says here you can wield 2-handed axes, maces, and swords in one hand. It doesn't say 2-handed axes because it's 2-handed is one word, one keyword, because everything's in keywords. 2-handed. Crossbow is 2-handed. But unfortunately, when you pick it, it just says anything that takes up 2 slots, which is the crossbow. So when you have this node here equipped, you can't equip 2 crossbows. It doesn't work. And if you try to go crossbow and shield, it just cuts off. That node, I think, is broken. I should be able, it would be nice, because I'm pretty sure in your trailer, Triple G, you showed a trailer of the mercenary with the crossbow and holding the shield at the exact same time and attacking. I want to do that. I can't do that because that node is broken with crossbow. Again, these are bugs that no one are talking about because they're too busy worrying about what kind of damn map is dropping. There are a lot of balancing issues in the game. I totally understand that. But there are other things in the game that are broken too that I think are way more important, especially if it can cause a goddamn seizure. Okay, on to overall gameplay. Overall, the game as a ranged character is actually pretty good. When the aiming works, the game works. You know, it works perfectly.
Stop fooling around.
The tension, the lighting, the graphics, when it's working in certain areas, it is working to the max. Beautiful. The bosses, I hate boss hunt games. People love boss rushing. I hate boss rush games. Dark Souls, Life of P, games like that. Those are all boss rush games. There's no story to it. It's just go kill an Elden Ring. No, there's nothing to it. It's just go, what boss can I kill next and how hard is it? This game, I'm not sure what they did to how they set the bosses up mechanically, but I want that challenge. Like, I'm looking for the damn boss to fight. Like, this is weird. I never had a game where I want to fight the boss. Normally, I'm trying to avoid the motherfucker. But in this game, I want to kill him. I'm like, where is he? Bring him on. And then if I lose, it's like I'm learning every single time. It's like, just like if you saw in my last video when I'm in my bag. I learn for every time, man. That's what L's are. You take the L's, you learn lessons. But every time, I'm always looking for these damn bosses. But so far, as soon as you get to Act 3 on, or mostly Act 2, end of it, the last 2 bosses, but Act 3 on, And definitely in Cruel, all of it is the bosses are just buggy. Like it's not a challenge that the bosses are not a challenge. The bosses themselves mechanically are not a challenge. It's the mechanic of me shooting
Can't do
and
that
moving
here.
around with the controller being so buggy. That's what's making the game hard. I don't find the bosses that hard. I can see after I died 2 or 3 times, I see the pattern. Like, oh, okay, I see what I gotta do, right? But when I try to go do it, the game goes, oh, you want to go left? Nah, you want to go right. Oh, you want to shoot up? Nah, we're going to shoot left. That's what this game is doing to me, especially when there's a lot of things on the screen at one time. When it's a little bit, the game is fine. But when it gets packed in there, when the boss gets bigger, the game goes, oh my god, what do I do? It's a controller, I don't get it.
Hey, boss, get down from there.
It is horrible. Horrible, I tell you, what you gotta go through.
Alright, let me tell you about this boss in Act 3, also Viper. She's one of the toughest bosses in the game. I think everybody's having issues with her. But with the Glacier Bolt skill, it has a knockback, an inherited knockback within the skill. If you push her into her guards, close enough to the guards with that Glacier Bolt skill, she can get stuck within the wall of her guards and become invincible. That is a crazy bug. Of course, no one knows about because, well, for one, no one's playing the Glacier Bolt build but me. So there's bugs like that this game needs to fix as fast as
Yeah, I
possible.
think a lot of people are having troubles with the game too. Is not because of difficulty in the game. I think if people will have better time with the game when they have all the rest
Hey,
of the
boss,
classes in
stop
it.
fooling around.
Because I think a lot of the classes that are in right now are set in a way that you have to build a certain way to make it work. And if you try to build away from it, it doesn't work very well. So I think they're finding those bugs right now because there's so many bugs that are way OP because they're trying to take it out of their comfort zone of that build. Like this build here, like people were using the witch hunter for the grenade build, but the best way to play the grenade build was with the legionnaire because you can get double the splatter damage. You know, you can switch it up. But I also realized today, like I said, a lot of people are not playing with this build. Definitely, it's a jack of all trades. But with the legionnaire, I just realized that if I go melee, I could take any monk build that's out there right now and double their damage just by using the Gemling Legionnaire. Looking at all the monk builds that are out there right now. For one,
Hey,
you're in the
boss,
same
get down
you're
from
in the
there.
same area where the monk is, so you're not that far from half the nodes. But you get the option of having double the gems when you're playing as that monk build. So especially if you're doing the monk that uses the bells, imagine the monk build with double the power because you can put double the nodes, skill gems, support gems by using that monk. See, that's a build that no one's made yet. Just like this build I'm using here, no one's made a glacial bolt build yet. Like these are builds that the options are there to make crazy ass builds. But like the glacier bolt build, like I don't do grenades. I got flashbang grenades just to get them off my butt because it slows them down. That's the only thing I use that for, and that's it. I like turrets. I got my turrets out, and I put my turrets out. They shoot the bullets in the air. It lands on them, it's big old splash damage, and it lands behind my glacier wall, so that does damage too. So it's all about AoE
Hey,
splash
boss, get
damage in
down
this
from
game,
there.
just like in part one. Melee is going to be always going to be trash until they fix hit boxes, which is going to cost them way much more money and time than they probably want to invest. So just get used to anything. Just make your AoE bigger, and you'll be fine.
In conclusion, this game is freaking awesome. I give it a 10 out of 10 when it is working. When it's not working, it's 7, maybe 8 tops out of 10. I say 8 out of 10 overall, but this game does need some work. Overall balancing issues and definitely controller. All right, take care, everybody. Peace.